Partnerships are vital to our global outreach, enabling us to take the love and hope of Jesus Christ to those who need it most. Our Boots on the Ground Partnership Program physically ministers to those in desperate situations all over the world. The Israel Partnership furthers Kim's legacy of outreach to Israel and Jewish people worldwide. We invite you to become a partner today. Join us today and be part of a community that inspires hope, brings restoration to life, and often healing from the past. Together, we can make a difference, and we thank you for your ongoing support.
Welcome to Real Life, Real Faith, and today, our brand new episode for you, we are focusing on the topic of difficult family dynamics. So welcome. We were talking for a second off camera and it's like, what is the answer here? And everybody's kind of collectively like, we're not too sure, but here we are ready to discuss it. The scripture that I'm going to read is this. It's Proverbs chapter 17, verse 27, and it says, "A man of knowledge uses words with restraint, and a man of understanding is even-tempered." Now, that's a lovely proverb, isn't it? A man of knowledge uses words with restraint. I don't know about you, but when things are feeling a little tense in the family realm, using words with restraint and being even-tempered can be really difficult. And I think, different people come from different families. There's different dynamics in all the families. My dad's side is Lebanese. Very intense.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool, very big, lots of cousins, lots of everybody, but also everybody just yells about everything. So like, you're happy, you're yelling and telling somebody to eat. You're sad, you're yelling and telling somebody to eat. Like, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's just like very intense. Everybody's got very big emotions, and it's a lot of heightened emotions all the time. And I've been, thankful I get on really well with pretty much most of them. And then my mom's side, some of it is Scottish descent, some is Afrikaans, but her family is very, very blunt, a little brutal sometimes. Like, I remember walking into a family gathering and they hadn't seen me for some time, and my one uncle looked at me and went, "Yo, Christy, my girl, you got fat, eh?" First thing he said as I walked in front of about 20 people, and I said, "Yeah, I know." He went, "What's happening there?" And I was like, I've had a bit of a rough year. He says, "Oh, yeah, you need to be careful of that." But, he sort of looked around. He said, "Look at these people. You need to be careful. That's something that, you need to be aware of in our family." And I was like, "Thanks, Uncle." So glad
love you.
Love you. Thank you for highlighting that in front of everybody.
Oh, dear.
And so these different things, when you've got family members that you don't agree with, nothing can be as divisive as politics. And, I also think something we need to be aware of is that nobody ever changed anybody else's mind by getting into a yelling match. When one person has got their flag firmly planted in one mountain and another person's got their flag firmly planted in another mountain, getting into a place of strife isn't going to cause any resolution. I think we have to remember that there's power in prayer. Mm-hmm. There's also power in showing with our character, with our behavior, the fruit of the Spirit. And I know that's so much easier said than done. I know I've had other friends where I didn't really know what to do when I went to their houses because their family was all so quiet. And everybody waited and took their turn to talk. Very confusing. Where I came from, when my grandmother was still with us, wonderful Lebanese woman, there were just so many of us, and we would always have Christmas at my aunt's house, and my aunt was sort of the local collector of all the stray humans. Very big heart. She still feeds feral cats, and I wish she wouldn't because I'm like, you're going to get injured. But we would end up with the most random people with us at Christmas because she would hear about somebody who didn't have any family, and next thing you know, she's put them in her car after church, and we've got new random strangers joining our big family. And there was always so many of us, and it's summertime in South Africa for Christmas, so everybody's in the swimming pool, and there's barbecue going on, and my gran would be yelling, "How many potatoes do you want?" And I'd say, "Just one, Granny." "Okay, I'll give you 4, like that's... And so it's a great thing that I think about with my family, and I'm grateful because I definitely grew up feeling very open-hearted towards other people. It wasn't like this closed-off time, but at the same time, it was loud, it was chaotic, lots of people, lots of kids, everybody running around. And then I've gone to other people's houses, and their families are really, really well put together, very polite. Everybody takes a turn to talk and share the thought, and then everybody else comments on the thought. And I'm sitting there going, I don't really know what to do in this situation. But again, in as much as there's really good dynamics, there can also be really difficult dynamics. And I'm not too sure how many of you out there have encountered this, but it's not fun when there's fighting. It's not fun when there's clashing.
Yeah.
Whether it's between you and your parents, whether it's between you and maybe grandparents, or it's cousins, or it's aunts or uncles. It's not an easy thing to deal with when the dynamic surrounding family is difficult. You know, a lot of my friends, even out here, you know, it'll be like the parents are coming to town and everybody kind of goes, oh, okay, you know, and then we kind of try help the friend out who's having a difficult time, and then we'll kind of traipse along too to go to the friends that they're not just on their own with the parents because there's so much tension. But for us as Christians, a man of knowledge uses words with restraint. That's very difficult to do.
Yeah.
And a man of understanding is even tempered. I don't know, Pastor Farr, you're Italian.
Watch out.
Talk to me about that.
Well, we have a crazy family, that's for sure. But, you know, what a blessing a family is. And, of course, there's so much diversity. I think advice is something that I know I really want to give advice as a human being, but I think advice is something that, especially with family and friends, that we should wait until we're asked to give our opinion, you know? I mean, it would be probably a lot more peaceful if that were the case. And James says, you know, the tongue is so little and it's so hard to discipline it, and it can turn a massive ship. And the family's so fractured anyway. It's so sad. This, you know, I mean, we have a lot of great examples out there, but at the same time, you've got people that have gotten divorced, remarried. You know, you've got a new set of kids to add in there. It's just like can be a lot of a big mix to try to manage. And lastly, we are an open letter. You know, we are an epistle read of all men. So I just kind of, maybe people think it's compromise, but I really try to just not talk.
Yeah.
Unless it's really something everyone, you know, can get in on, that pretty much agree on, and just let our lives, people know how to read us pretty well, I think.
What do you think, Bree?
Wow. Just, that's a lot of wisdom.
Yeah, it
My
is.
dad says the same thing. I'm not going to tell you my thoughts until you ask me. And so sometimes we just don't ask. But, you know, I grew up, we said it 1,000 times over in ministry and in church, but I was, you know, my parents were divorced, so we were in a broken home from the age of 11. And it wasn't like a, you know, oh, they're divorced, has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Oh, no. This was almost a 4-year custody battle. Nasty.
Oh, wow.
Nasty. And, you know, my brother and I were smack dab in the middle of it. So I'm this older sister trying to be this protector and also trying to be a preteen and teenager and figure myself out while cornered into taking sides.
That is tough.
And everyone's in ministry.
Oof.
So a difficult family dynamic was something that I'm very used to. Of course, every family has their own dysfunction.
Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, going through life, you know, I'm almost 30, and it's been, you know, about 20 years in all of this. 20 years. And my mom is no longer here, but yet I still have to function with my children with split sides, still little nicks and nabs, little sayings. So I'm having to, unfortunately, figure out how to stop it, right? Stop that whatever continuance of how I was having to juggle two sides, while at the same time trying to embrace both sides.
Yeah.
So now I have kids and I'm like, okay, we're gonna do a baptism.
Oof.
Everyone's invited. Don't be any tension. And while everyone's there and it's beautiful and I wouldn't have it any other way, I'm holding my breath. There's looks from across the church.
Oh, wow.
There's, you got to sit in this section. You got to sit. I mean, it is, intense. And if you're watching, I love you all. But that's just the truth. You guys are there.
Yeah.
And so it's just, and so now it's like my kids, me and my husband are together, but my kids are now having to feel the aftermath of a divorce still. And it's like, that's why off camera, before we started, I was like, I don't know. I don't know how we handle this, how we juggle this. And we all love the Lord and it's all great. It's just, you cannot get over your offense. And I feel like that's a lot of the root of what creates a difficult family dynamic is kind of what we talked about in a few episodes ago about forgiveness and stuff.
Yeah.
And I really think that a lot of where that stems from, not holding your tongue, speaking when you're not really asked to, and holding on to offense. You have a 20-year-old offense that is not affecting the people. One is not even here anymore. Affecting the children now, it's affecting the children's children. This is a generational offense that's now having to be carried. And it's heavy and it's hard. And I don't have the answer as to how we navigate that dynamic. So I'm a viewer.
Yeah.
And I'm writing in and I'm saying, how do we manage this difficult dynamic,
Taking from what you've both said, I think there's wisdom here. And from what you're saying, you're somebody who's practically lived this. It's hard. And what Pastor Farr is saying is like, there are some practical things we can do. I think protecting our hearts is an important thing to do. Going into the situation, we can hope for the best, but it's somebody else's behavior. We're never going to be able to control that or modify it. All we can do is what we can do. So going into a situation, knowing there's going to be difficulty, we can go in asking God to help us protect our hearts, to have the defenses and the walls of our hearts secure. I think that we can do practical things like simply not saying anything. And I'm not talking about when there's this big moral conundrum and, we really have to stand up for Jesus. I'm just talking about that guy thinks that the sky is blue and that guy thinks that it's gray and they're going to fight about it until 2072. There's no point in getting involved. All it's going to do is add to the tension. And please don't think that I'm sitting here giving you a prescription for how to fix things. This is just what I'm thinking of based on what everybody's spoken about. I think holding our tongues, like Bree said, is so important. Like Pastor Farr said, just not saying anything. Sometimes us holding our peace is going to be more of an example than all the words we could possibly say. And so my encouragement to you, wherever you're at, if you've experienced this, if this is something you're going through currently, protect your peace at all costs. That would be my encouragement to you. You don't have to get involved in the tension. You don't have to get involved in the arguments. Holding your peace is going to be such a beautiful example, and it's something that people will be able to look back on years later and go, that person really actually kept it together and kind of stayed as the scriptures tell us, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be blessed, they will inherit the earth. And I think oftentimes making peace can sometimes look different than we would expect, but I think the most important thing is to protect our peace. Jesus is called the Prince of Peace in the book of Isaiah. And it's something that we can really hold on to and ask him to help us with.
Because it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Being a peacemaker
It's tiring.
It really can be. It's not an easy thing.
Yeah, it's not like you run out with your little white flag and wave it and everybody says, the peacemaker's here, we better all stop. It's hard. You're hearing both sides of the offense. You're hearing both sides of everything, and that is a difficult thing to deal with. But Jesus is with us in every situation. He's with us no matter what. And so my prayer for you would be that you would get comfort from this, and that you would know that just even if you need to take a couple minutes, if you're in a difficult situation, to go stand in a restroom on your own for a second and go, Jesus, please help me to hold my peace. Help me to just hold on to it. And I really do pray that any difficult family dynamics you might be experiencing, you would have peace in the midst of it, and you would feel that supernatural presence of God with you. As I close, just before we go into a moment of worship, which I encourage you to stay for, I want to remind you that for a gift of $25 or more, you can get this incredible book, Prophetic Revelations, a collection of letters from the pen of Kim Clement. And it's a bunch of Kim's writings that haven't been released before, letters, thoughts, teaching notes, all of it we've combined into one. So there's 30 letters that we've called them on a variety of topics. And I know that it's something that will really bless you. It's a wonderful gift to give somebody else if that's something you're looking to do, and it's a great gift to give yourself. So again, for a gift of $25 or more, you will get this book, Prophetic Revelations. I encourage you to do that. But thank you so much for joining us. And you'll find us here every Tuesday. And obviously you're able to watch throughout the week, but every Tuesday we've got a new episode for you here on Real Life, Real Faith. And again, if you want to write us, please email in to realliferealfaith@houseofdestiny.org. We'd love to hear from you. If you've got prayer requests, topic ideas, anything you want to say, please know that we're here waiting to listen. God bless you guys.
You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. Oh, great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you, only you. 'Cause great are you, Lord. Oh, great are you, Lord. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. But great are you, Lord. Yeah. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, we pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, we pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you, only you. Nobody else but you. Nobody, nobody else but you. And we sing, Lord. 'Cause all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great, great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour it out, pour it out. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise, 'cause great are you, Lord. Oh, great are you, Lord. Yeah. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord.
I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale, and here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free.
We here at the House of Destiny are partnering with you to let our viewers, of course, know about your company. It's Beverly Hills Precious Metal.
Andrew, explain how that works.
So I'll walk you through it right now. So if you go to bh-pm.com, right there on the homepage, you'll see a form that you could fill out. And that form is very important in letting us know how we can help you. So you just put in your first name, last name, email address, phone number. There's a section that says, how did you hear about us? And in there, put Kim Clement. And then there's a portion where you could write a couple of notes down on the bottom. Usually within about 24 to 48 hours, we'll contact you by phone call, and then we'll go over everything with you. This isn't a high pressure deal. We always recommend that if you feel uncomfortable, take a step back, pray about it. You will gain the answers that you need by doing that, and come back to us when you're comfortable.